When Huawei released the P20 Pro, it was met with praise over its camera, scoring the highest in the globally recognized DXOMark camera test for 2018. Well, this year that score has finally been topped by Huawei's new flagship, the P30 Pro. So out of all the handsets on the market, should you pick this one? Let's have a look. First of all, there's two models, the 6.1-inch P30 and the 6.47-inch P30 Pro. And no matter which size you pick, you'll get the same housing colors, screen resolution, water drop notch, front camera, software experience, and processor, which is Huawei's own Kirin 980, a great performing chip, perfect for web browsing, gaming, and everyday use. It stays fast and is the main reason for this device's fantastic battery life. Now, starting with those colors, Huawei have done a great job this year making their phones stand out. Aurora is two shades of blue that blend together in sort of a wave pattern. It looks really cool. And then my favorite of the bunch is the breathing Crystal, sort of a two-tone pearl color that shimmers pink and orange when the light hits it. It's hard to show on video, but in person these colors look really nice. And then the other color we get in New Zealand is black, a nice neutral shade with reflective glass coating. So what are the differences between these models? Well, a big one is the battery size. The P30 Pro has a massive battery, while also supporting wireless charging. A notable difference is the shape of the screens. The P30 Pro has a curved screen design where the screen folds slightly around the edges. The regular P30, on the other hand, has the traditional flat design, as well as a headphone jack and a super thin speakerphone found at the top for phone calls. The P30 Pro, however, does not have this speaker. Instead, there's a speaker placed under the screen itself that vibrates the glass, similar to bone conduction technology. You can place your ear basically anywhere around this top section, and you'll be able to hear the person you're talking to clearly. Even in louder environments, it's actually quite impressive. But the big thing with these phones are those cameras. Like we mentioned, both phones have a massive 32 megapixel front camera, which is just insane, and produces very sharp selfie images. Moving to the back, we get even more. 3 extra cameras on the P30 and 4 on the P30 Pro. At the top we've got our main sensors, followed by the ultra wide and a zoom sensor, with the P30 Pro also including a time of flight sensor, which is considered a camera, but it's used for improved distance measuring, autofocus, and low light, producing some amazing bokeh shots. With both phones including ultra-wide standard and telephoto lenses, these phones are incredibly versatile when it comes to getting the perfect shot. The zoom functions on these phones vary wildly though. The P30 can produce 3 times optical zoom and 30 times digital. Pretty good for a smartphone. The P30 Pro, however, has 5 times optical and up to 50 times zoom, which is just ridiculous. And only possible because it's the first phone in the world to include a periscope lens. You see, in order to zoom optically, you need to increase the space between the lenses, which is quite hard to do on the back of a smartphone. So Huawei made this genius little mechanism that works similar to a submarine using mirrors. The light comes through the opening and bounces off a 45-degree angle mirror through the lenses and hitting the sensor sitting vertically on the back wall, giving you a longer focal distance while still sitting flush with the rest of the cameras. And it works really well. Even at max zoom handheld, you have quite a lot of control over the phone and can still get very clear shots, which was one of the things I was most worried about. Another standout feature is the night mode, which again is pretty hard to show off on video just how well it works, but in a room where really there's no light at all, the P30 Pro is able to pull off long exposure while being completely handheld and produce sharp and great looking images. But as far as just chucking this phone on auto, point and shoot, it actually performs really well. The images are really good. Super fast autofocus, good response to light, and Huawei also have their AI software that can automatically change the settings to portrait, for example, when it detects a face, or bump the saturation for landscape shots. It's still a little in your face, but I find myself fighting with it a lot less compared to the P20. Both models have in-screen fingerprint sensors. They're okay. Still not as quick as the capacitive sensor, but the technology is maturing. The new Emotion UI 9.1 software brings refinements and fixes, including a new file system format, consistent icon shapes, and much faster and smoother performance. All in all, they're great modern devices, but there are a few minor annoyances. Like the expandable storage slot has changed from the universally recognized micro SD card to Huawei's own proprietary nano memory card, which offers less storage at a higher price. Also, while the P30 Pro has a respectable water and dust resistant rating of IP68, the the P30 is only IP53. But in the grand scheme of things, you can put those aside. Huawei have ticked the most important boxes. Both models have an amazing screen, huge batteries, and industry-changing cameras, with the P30 Pro just topping it off with those extra little features. To get a look at these phones in person, you can head down to your local PB Tech and check out the display units. Go check out that breathing crystal color, it's pretty cool. I'm Eli from PB Tech, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.